let's put the deadwood together. I'm going to use my sticky white glue. Oh, that is sticky. Okay, first piece is this little deadwood piece here. So I'm going to glue her up. Just like this. Doesn't matter if it oozes out because we're going to clean this up when we're done. Let's just temporarily stick it on there. Oh man, it got away. Okay, let's just stick it on there temporarily. That's why I really like working on this glass, because nothing sticks to it and it's very flat. Okay, next we're going to do the deadwood here. Okay, let's glue it up. Get plenty of glue on there. And temporarily stick that on there. Just like that. Then the final piece is the stern post. And I want to mark that. Oh, here's a pencil. Okay. I want to mark that right here, so I don't get glue up in this area, because that's where the transom goes. Okay, glue it up. Get it all on there. Get it on the bottom. Let's cap my glue. Alright. And let's ease it together. Now what we have to do is we have to line up the stern post with the end of the keel. So I got this handy little square here, just a little thing. And I'm going to use that, and I'm going to push everything up against it. Okay. Let me push that. Wow, that glue sticks really well. Can't get it off. There it goes. See, that's what happens when you leave it sit around and it gets very, very tacky. Okay, that's what I needed. Make sure it's against the straight edge. Push it down. Push it together. There we have it. I'm not going to worry about this glue oozing out because I'm going to scrape that off. And I'll show you how nice and tacky it is. It's stuck to the table, see? You can move it around quite well. So let's just let this sit there and dry for now. Okay, here, let me use a razor blade. Clean off my table. Okay, bring it back, and I just want to check it again. Make sure it's flat. Make sure everything is nice and flat. Line it up again. Okay, I like it. Let's let it dry. Okay, earlier this afternoon I glued on the stern post and this deadwood. Now what I want to do is I want to glue on the stem. But there is a very slight movement in this stem. You can see it. Okay? So what I need to do is to make sure that the notches in this keel line up exactly to the notches in this framing jig. And the reason for that is because once I stand this keel up in this jig, and if these notches and these notches are not exactly matching, what will happen is when I put the frames in, they're going to have a slight tilt to them. So I have to ensure that all these notches line up, and here's how I'm going to do that. I'm going to first of all take this on my jig, and I'm going to find the corresponding notches like this, and I'm going to line them up exactly, and I'm going to clamp it. I'm going to do the same up here, and I'm going to clamp it again. See what I did? I made sure the keel notches and the framing jig notches are exactly lined up. Now I'm going to come back here to the stern post because you see it has a notch also. So what I want to do is take the edge of this stern post and line it up, and we bend this right here to the end of this notch. So let me do that and I'll clamp it in place. Okay, that's it. Now I have the location of my keel in relation to my jig. And my notches are now lining up. So now what I can do is I can take my stem, which is here, and I'll put it in the scarf joint down here. But first of all, what I want to do is I want to line this stem up right to the edge here. So I want to move that like that until it lines up perfect. So I'm going to do that right now, and I'm going to clamp it. Okay, that's clamped in place. Now what I can do is take a clamp and squeeze my scarf joint together like this. Okay, you can't see it, but it's there. So now that sets up my keel assembly. Now I'm going to let that dry and I'll come back to it later. Okay, I left this off at gluing my keel assembly together. So now I'm going to take it off the jig here. And let's see. Okay. Oh, you can see that little piece of paper? Well, I just stuck that on between my keel and the jig. That just so it didn't stick to this jig, because you could just quickly peel this off of there like that. Okay, now let's put in the apron here. See this? That's that paper that's stuck on there, but that comes off very easily like this. All right. This stem is very delicate on here. Okay, it could break off of there. So that's why we want to glue the apron on here first. Okay, and that's going to go like this. And then this one goes up here like this. And it's going to make that much stronger. Okay, let's glue it up. Let's get some glue on these parts. Alright, stick it right on there like so. Just hold it there. Now we want to do this piece here. Right there. Let's stick it on. Look what I did. Alright, let's get that off of there. Okay, now we're just going to put that on there. Just lay it on there nicely. Beautiful fit. Okay. Now I want to clamp these things together. I'm going to hold this down flat. Clamp it there. Clamp it up at the top. Like that. And let's put one more clamp by that scarf joint. Let's see if this clamp is big enough. Oh, it'll make it beautiful. Okay, let's just wiggle it. Okay, it's nice and flat on the surface. Let's let that dry out before we put this last piece on. And we're going to put in the last piece, which is this piece right here. So let's first remove these clamps, like that. And that piece is going to sit right in here. But this scarf joint on that piece also has to fit into the scarf joint on the keelson. So let's go all the way back here to the stern, and let's fit this keelson in this joint like that. Okay, and let's just clamp it in place temporarily, like so. Now we can come down here and we can fit that piece right down in where the keelson goes. Let me show you. See, it has to fit right in here. Okay, so we could take it and set it in there like that and then pinch it closed. That way we know it's going to fit. So let's glue it up and get it in there. Alright, let's get the glue on here. Nice and thick. We don't care if it oozes out because we're going to clean it up anyhow. Okay, now don't put anything on this scarf joint right here. We don't want to glue that keelson in. We're just using it to position this. Okay, let's slide it in there. Slide it against the keelson. Hold it. Clamp it. Now let's take the keelson out. And right down here, we're going to clamp that scarf joint down. Let's hold it flat and clamp. Okay, let's hold that and we'll come back to it after it's dry. As you can see here, when I assembled a keel, glue has oozed out. You can see the scratch marks. And even though everything is laying quite flat, here, let's look at the stern. Okay, you can see where glue is oozed out here, but it's very flat. There's only thousandths of an inch difference between all of these parts. Now on this side, you can see where the glue is oozed out. So the scratch marks don't matter because you have to go back and smooth all of this out anyhow. Before we take this keel and mount it in this jig like this, we're going to take that rough surface I showed you and we're going to scrape the sides of the keel like this. Hold it so we don't want to break any parts. Just scrape it like so. Okay? And we're going to keep scraping that until we have a nice smooth surface. It doesn't take much at all. Okay, I'm going to get all the way down here. Scrape here. Flip it over. Do the same on this side. Keep scraping until we get all of those score lines off of here and all of the glue and any smudges or anything else. Okay. That's all it really takes. Here, let me show you now. You see? It is now nice and smooth. There's no score lines on it. A little bit of dust. And it's smooth all along the keel. So that's our final. Let me get the dust off. Okay? See, that's nice and smooth, nice and clean. Okay, now this keel is ready to glue into the jig.